the most remarkable story, and like we say, it was an innocent 20-minute jog with your sister. At what point did you realise there was something terribly, seriously wrong?
Well, I think the thing is, we didn't. So when I first tripped over, I genuinely thought I'd broken my leg. I didn't know it was anything more serious than that. So it wasn't until we got to the hospital and surgeons realised that actually it was far, far more serious and that the blood couldn't get through to my foot.
So at that point, doctors had done all of the scans and everything else, and then they came back and said, really, there was only one option at that point.
Yeah, so I was in intensive care for about 3 days, and on the 4th day, they said, we can't do any more. They'd done 3 operations to try and restart the flow of blood, and the 4th operation was an amputation below the knee.
No one is ever going to expect that to have been the outcome, as like we say, from this innocent run in the morning. You had some very low moments in the hospital at that stage, because suddenly not only a life-threatening condition, but a life-changing one then off the back of the operation. How did you begin to process what was happening?
It was difficult. I mean, I was 25 at the time, you know, hectic life as a journalist and social life and all the rest of it, dating, all that. And yeah, it's a massive shock. It's just shattering devastation. And yeah, in hospital, very, very low. You just kind of think, why has this happened to me? And from something so simple as well. I think that's what makes it harder, the grief to process, because it wasn't like I'd had a big dramatic accident, you know. I'd literally tripped over my own feet, as I'm sure we all do. So, yeah, very difficult to process.
And when the doctors were telling you what was happening, you found it particularly painful seeing the pain on your parents' faces and your sister's face. It was everyone else and how they were dealing with it. It's hard to take on board too, isn't it? Because you're worried for them in your moment of need.
Yeah, and my sister was with me when it happened. So, you know, she actually saw me fall over. So the trauma from her point of view, I can't even imagine. Obviously, for me, it's all a bit of a blur, but for her, it remains searingly vivid. So it's, yeah, very, very difficult for her. Yeah.
Well, off the back of the operation, it obviously took some time to recover, and you went through intensive physio. But it was during that time that that spark came back to you as such, where you started to see your new leg as something that you shouldn't fear necessarily. It was actually something that you had to be proud of. And at that point, I think things did start to change again for you. You did see a future.
Yes, definitely. So, I mean, my lowest points were when I, after hospital, was discharged and went back to live with my parents in Kent. Gradually, once I'd got the prosthetic leg and I'd gone to a rehabilitation clinic and I was having intensive physio, as you say, it was then when I looked down at the prosthetic leg that I thought, it feels so good to be standing on 2 legs again. And I can't even begin to describe when you've been sitting down for 4 months, you know, gained a lot of weight, felt just really awful and sedentary. To be standing up again like that, I suddenly thought, actually, I'm proud of this now. And now when people look at me in the street, I don't mind. I mean, people do stare, children particularly do stare, but I almost like it because it makes me sort of proud of how far I've come.
Of course, because as you say, you almost had panic attacks because you didn't want to have to talk to people and deal with people and deal with the reactions in those early days.
Yeah, and I'm naturally very sociable, so for that to happen, I think for my family and friends, that was a massive shock. You know, why doesn't she want to talk?
Of course.
They weren't sort of used to that. So, yes, it was tough.
But it has now created and opened so many doors for you because you've set yourself challenges that you probably never would have done in lots of respects. We're talking about climbing the O2 in London and crazy swimming challenges, all sorts of things. And for that, you almost feel grateful.
Yeah. I do, yeah. And, you know, the prosthetic technology now is absolutely amazing. I've got a running blade. Did a jog with my sister, it was only 1K, but for me it was a huge achievement. Yeah, it's incredible. And you kind of just think, wow, I'm actually really lucky to have had all the opportunities that I've had.
And getting back out there, which you mentioned dating earlier, and getting back out there again as well and feeling like yourself.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the dating side of things, that was, you know, online dating is a minefield anyway, but particularly when you've got one leg. When do you tell them that you've got one leg, you know? At what point do you say anything? But luckily, yes, I have met someone now and I'm very happy.
Good for you. So tell us about this book. It's called 5 Steps to Happy.
Yeah.
One small act can change a life forever.
Yes. So 5 Steps to Happy is my debut novel. I always wanted to write a book. I've always loved writing ever since I was tiny. And it's based on my own story. So semi-autobiographical in the sense that the main character, Heidi, has the same accident as me. She trips over running along a path. And the recovery journey is similar in that she goes to hospital, she goes to a rehabilitation centre, but then it's fictional in that the plot is kind of, it is made up. And so the characters are sort of roughly based on people I'd met,
yes.
but obviously, if anyone out there has read it and was in the rehabilitation centre, it's not you.
Okay, just to be precise.
Yeah, just to be clear on that.
But it's something that you wanted to do, and writing a book is clearly a passion, and writing really is what you're wanting to carry on doing as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a journalist anyway. I write for Good Housekeeping, Prima and Red magazines, and, you know, I've always absolutely loved writing, and I think to have this opportunity, that's what I mean about the opportunities that come your way, and it just shows there really is a silver lining, and that I really want to get across the message that there is light through that darkness.
And as you say, there was darkness, but here we are, and how things have changed in a relatively short time, really. It's only a couple of years ago.
Yes. So it was May 2016 that I had the accident, and I now am so passionate about speaking to trauma survivors of all kinds, whether amputees or whether it's psychological trauma. It's really something that I want to get across with this book. I'm hoping that the story will inspire people and perhaps even help them as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Ella, for sharing it with us, and good luck
Thank
with
you.
all the other challenges. With no doubt you're going to be taking on. Exactly. There's no stopping you.